Welcome back, folks. We here today, another show, another day, another dollar. What's up, Walt? How you doing, man?
Nah, man, good. Happy Sunday.
Happy
Happy
Sunday.
July, man.
Oof. Half the year's
July.
gone, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. And for payroll folks, right, it just feels like it moves in quarters for when
Yeah,
we went, and it's just nuts, man. The time, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
yeah, man. It's time is flying. But
Yeah.
that also tells us that time is of the essence.
Yeah,
Time is
for
flying by.
sure.
Life is flying by.
Yep.
Make your move now. Do what
Yep.
you gotta do now.
Word up. I think,
Yeah,
and that's what I
man.
think about every time with time. Something I want to share some stuff with you guys recently. I've been like, bro, you already know I'm not even gonna play silly or whatever. I think I'm at burnout point. You know what I mean? And it's
Yep,
happened before in my career. You just crash and burn, and it is
yep,
what it is. I think one of the things that I think I do well is pick myself back up from that burnout.
yep.
And but it is what it is, right? You got to go through the process. It's how do we say when something traumatic happens to us in life,
Yeah, yep.
it's okay to have a pity party for a day or so, and it's okay to go through that emotions, but you got to get yourself out of that. You know what I mean? You got to
Hmm.
with this poem, can't see it that good. It's If by Rudyard Kipling. I don't know if anybody's caught that on my arm. It's hard to see, but I have a tattoo. Me and my daughter share a tattoo. If I had dedicated this poem to her when she graduated high school. It's a great poem by Rudyard Kipling, and in it talks about meeting disaster, triumph and disaster, and meeting and treating both imposters just the same.
Yes.
And right, base in layman's terms, to the highs and lows, you have to treat them just the same.
Yep.
Not saying not to celebrate, not to pity party when you need it, but you can't stay there, right? You can't stay in the high and you can't
And
stay in the
staying
low.
low. No.
You got to rebalance yourself and get to an even place, a sustainable place.
Yep.
So recently, like I had you in mind as I'm prepping for the show, and I'm like, damn, if Walt asked me about something recent, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna talk about that's not about payroll right now? And I think negativity is what has been resonating with me, and negative energies and things
Yeah,
like
man.
that, right? How other people's negative energies can impact us.
Yep.
And I just looked up like negative energy and I found some stuff that said how to identify negative energy in a person.
Mhm.
And this list has it's a quick list. If you don't mind, if I
Yeah,
could
go
run
ahead.
through it real quick. And it basically says how to identify a negative energy in a person, the signs. The first one is they find fault with everyone and everything.
Mhm.
And I have a great saying for that. That's what is it? Someone who has a problem for every solution.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a negative
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
Another one is they try to bring you down with them. We all know about that.
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. Thank you. This one was interesting to me. They tolerate little to no disappointment.
Mm.
And I was like, what does that mean? That one I had to read into it a little bit more. And it says, when someone tolerates little to no disappointment, that's a sign of negative energy. Why, you ask? Yes, I do. Because the only way that they can effectively show how unable they are of letting go of their disappointments is by holding on to them until they affect them so badly that they feel suffocated. This
Hmm.
means that constant negative thoughts are weighing down this person's mind.
Wow.
So it's a very interesting take on negative people. I never realized that. They can't handle criticism is another one. They're afraid to take risks is another
Yeah.
one. They're quick to label things as bad and are pessimistic.
Hmm.
They're secretive but curious. Yeah, you nosy, but you want to know about my shit. You know what I'm saying? And And now that was it. The final words, it was like, "Wow, you're not able to blah blah blah." But that
Well,
was
but
it.
I think that's good because I think, and thank you for sharing that with that all of us and stuff. I think that we've all been having our own battles in a way, whether that's on the job, internally with ourselves,
Always.
no
Yep.
matter what, everybody's facing pressure.
Yep.
There's some type of pressure out there, and some people handle it differently. But like you said, you have to find a way to get back in that middle zone to where you're like, hey, I'm not too high, I'm not too low. I
Hmm.
am content. I'm at this place of balance where if something does happen, it's not going to completely throw me off and shut me down forever. Or if something
Exactly
good
right.
happens, I'm not just going to be so elated that I lose reality, or I lose my focus because this one good thing happened and I just let everything else slip.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes you got to take the wins and the losses as lessons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
They're all
yeah.
lessons.
They're all
Yeah.
lessons. Yep. That's right. Exactly right. They're all lessons. When you lose, don't lose the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
That has been a saving grace for me. That one line,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I've lost so much in my life that I'm just at one point I was just like, what the hell? And that thing, honestly, man, lifesaver probably that statement. When you lose, don't
Mm-hmm.
lose the lesson.
So
Man,
someone in my life or something I made up. If you look at the first letter of each one, that's WAL, wall. They say if you don't learn the lessons, that's what you're going to run into is
it's a good
walls
one. I
continually.
like it.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
like it.
So
That's a good one. See, Wall always coming with the acronyms. Wall. What is it? Win and lose lesson.
wins and losses
Wins and
equal
losses
lessons.
equal lessons. Got it. I love it. Yeah, man. That's just so I said, you know what? Let me just get out of this and kind of share where I'm at. It's tough, man. It's just work burnout. Life is already, it's always a lot, man. It's adulting is tough, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then for us, adding on the complexity of trying to do more and our own projects on the side and things like that is crazy, man.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right, man. So what are we talking about today?
We are still covering cybercrime, folks, because we are getting hit internally, meaning we're always getting threatened, we're always getting hit. Shoot, oh man, I wanted to talk about we ain't got to. Yeah, I wanted to talk about an example that we are aware of because of our own experience, and I don't think it's a security breach. It's a very much real, and other payroll folks need to be aware of this.
Yeah.
So just because of the proliferation of cybercrime and cybersecurity is such a big conversation, I recently was able to interview an anonymous source and got us some really good nuggets, like things that are really happening at on a global scale for cybersecurity. That does not all this stuff makes the news.
Yeah. Yes.
And the matter of fact, I got two anonymous sources. One that just reiterates the education part of it, but they're both cybersecurity experts.
Mhm.
And because of that, we can't share name or company that they work for, right? But they agreed to give me some info, give me some tips. So yeah, I mean, we got a list of things. Well, we found some articles out there that are covering these dangers and employees breaches, and the, so we again, our links to our articles are in the show notes. You can go and read them and at your leisure and read through. We're just summarizing, right? We're just giving you high level stuff. This first one came from redteamsecurity.com, or I'm sorry, redteamsecure.com. And basically, they're a cybersecurity firm, but it's great when firms put out the information and
Yes.
they do the work for us. They say, hey, look,
Yes.
this is why you need us, right?
Hmm.
So shout out to them for putting this article together. And, we'll share these things for you. See, like the first, so basically, they're telling us how and the whys, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And the first one is the types of threats and the biggest threats. Employees and contractors are the main cause of data breaches, and insider threats are on the rise.
Say that again.
Employees and
Yeah,
contractors are the main causes of data breaches. So that's the internal thing. And it's not
yeah,
all malicious, right? So this is like 71% are inadvertent data breach leaks, data breaches or leaks. Inadvertent, 71%
mm-hmm.
inadvertent. So this is not malicious, right?
Yeah,
By the way, these don't add up to 100%. So this is the stuff, bad stuff with statistics. I didn't tear it
yeah,
apart.
yeah,
68% negligent data breach.
yeah,
Again, not malicious, but they are saying 61% are malicious data breaches,
yep,
willfully causing harm.
yep. And there's
Um,
little things in parentheses there that they have under each percentage. So the 71%, it says careless user causing accidental breach.
yep.
68% user willfully ignoring policy, but not
Mm,
malicious.
mm, that's borderline for me. If you're ignoring policy, you could carnal, right? You could argue
Yeah.
malicious. Well, okay, I get what they're saying.
Well,
I get what,
the intent might not be
right. The
malicious. Like
intent,
you're not in
it's
there thinking,
negligent. You're right.
you're not thinking, oh,
I'm gonna
I don't
get it.
give a damn
Yeah.
about, I'm gonna give a damn about this company, like F this company,
Yeah, that's
whatever.
later in the
And,
list.
yeah, and then malicious is you're doing it, you're willfully trying to cause harm. Like, oh, I'm pissed off. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about this a little bit more, but
Yep.
yeah, I'm pissed off and I want to break some stuff.
Yeah. That is whack, man. Another one is privileged users, well, or the risk rather, right? These are where the risks are.
Yeah.
Privileged users with access to sensitive information are considered the biggest threat,
Ooh.
followed by the consultants and contractors and regular
So that's
employees.
us,
That's
right?
it, right? Yeah, super users, payroll people, HR people,
HR.
maybe a
Yeah.
few other IT.
Yeah.
IT are
Yeah. Yeah.
usually practitioners and administrators.
No, and some of those subcategories like HR usually benefits usually falls under HR or
Hmm.
payroll.
Hmm.
Those different because some companies have just a benefits person or whatever,
Yep.
and anybody who has access to PPI.
Yep. And this is why whoever your security administrator is needs to be very diligent about who they let access to, right? Not
Yeah.
everybody can just have access. A lot of times companies starting out, everybody has access and everybody can do everything because it's just all hands on
Yes.
deck and oh
Yes.
my
Yes.
gosh,
Yes.
rah, rah,
Yes.
rah.
Yeah.
Yep. But this, and this is the problem in the digital world.
And for me, I think some of the issues could be the third party software or that you use as a company or as a business because it may be good for business for processing from a standpoint, but are their processes secure?
Yep.
Do they have the two factor? Do they
Yep.
have different things that can secure that login information, or is it just a site that you can just log into and just whatever, and there's no protection?
Yep.
Or do you use a third party time and attendance system that has socials and stuff like that in it, or
Yep.
addresses and phone numbers and stuff like that? Does it have two factor in it?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Just the was it Zealous that we covered? It
Yes.
wasn't Zealous. It was a vendor they used to help facilitate the functions that
Yep.
got breached. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So you got to pay attention to that.
Perfect.
Reasons. So the reasons for this increasing threat include insufficient data strategies, the
Yes.
proliferation of devices and access to sensitive data, the movement
Mm-hmm.
of data outside firewalls on mobile
Yep.
devices, and the complexity of technology. But I wanted to give some exact examples here. Where are they?
So you see all the one under the
Yeah,
percentage, understanding the
yeah.
risk.
So why is the
Yeah.
threat on the rise? Haystack's crowd-based research identified several reasons: insufficient data protection strategies and solutions, like we said, increase of
Yep.
devices with access to sensitive data, increasing
Mm-hmm.
number of devices with access to sensitive data,
Yes. So
right?
think about it. So as you grow as a company and your team grows, there's potential for greater risk. It's essentially
Yes.
how I'm hearing that.
And no, and that, and also think about it. When we don't have just laptops, we have some folks get phones. We all have phones, but what
Yeah,
apps are you putting on those phones for work?
yeah,
Right? Is your phone encrypted, and is your phone regulated by the job? So you got to
yeah,
be careful with what you're putting on that the job doesn't know about that you're putting on your phone. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Again, proliferation, I can't speak this
Proliferation.
morning,
Yeah.
of
Hmm.
sensitive data moving outside the firewall on mobile devices. So again, the things you're putting on these mobile devices, you're moving data around. And as companies get more, oh, we want to be mobile, but what you got to realize is sometimes, and if you ask them, they'll tell you their mobile technology is not the same as their desktop technology.
Yeah, and basically what proliferation means is like a rapid increase
Increase,
in
yes.
numbers, a rapid increase in so that means like a rapid increase of sensitive data moving outside the firewall on mobile devices. So you answering an email on your phone that may not necessarily have some encryption on it, like you were
Hmm.
saying, Brian, and you're sending a Excel, you're forwarding an Excel
Yep.
thing, you
Texting.
know. Yep.
Texting stuff is not encrypted. That's why people use
Yep.
WhatsApp, because it's end-to-end encrypted, right? Which
Yep.
I just learned. Like, why do people use, well, end-to-end
Yep.
encryption?
Yep.
Mm, Using that, like stuff like that. You use it. Yeah, you're gonna text stuff, and you're texting. Oh, here's their social. Here's there's
Mm-hmm.
whoa, hey, whoa.
Yep.
And the other one, the last one here, increasing use of cloud apps and infrastructure. But
Ooh.
same thing, right? The just technology expanding, and we want to be in the cloud.
See,
So,
and that's my worry. Like for those companies that use multiple systems, like I was saying, like so many different things for so many different processes, and like you're using so many different systems to try and make your process work.
mm,
And it's just like you're putting yourself at risk. So if you have a really good IT team and you have a really good security team, you should be okay. But you have to understand that you're putting yourself at so much risk by having so many different access points, because that's what it is, right?
yep,
You're giving people other access points to your data.
yep,
You're giving those hackers, those scammers, access points. So that's what it means by having this increase in accessibility.
yep, yep. Exactly right. Mm,
There's another note here below those is saying that negligent employees and our contractors were the number one cause of data breaches, with the average cost of damage or theft of IT assets and infrastructure now exceeding $1 million.
that's the one I wanted to talk. Tell us about what, two times now, right?
Yes.
Direct
So
deposit. Tell
yeah,
us about
so
that.
there's examples where we've experienced where two different employees had their direct deposit information changed in the system, and one employee knew to notify the school leaders and notify us and stuff, so they caught it. But someone changed their direct deposit information and they don't know how they did it. And there was an investigation done. And once, let's say one person was in California whose stuff was changed, but the IP address was in Florida. So it's just like, wait a minute, I'm not in Florida. I'm in
Yep,
California. I haven't been
yep,
traveling or anything like that.
yep,
That wasn't me.
yep,
So we had to do an investigation. And the scary thing is that there was no access point identified to where how that person got into that person's login,
yep,
whether it was via the app or via the web.
yep,
Again, like we said, maybe the app is on their phone. Maybe they accessed a website or something that was shady, or and that person hacked in and when they waited for them to log into that app and went in, or they were in a public place
yep,
and they left their information open, and then somebody walked in and got their stuff. You
yeah,
never know.
yeah. Google has a great service where they tell you, hey, you have this password on multiple sites, right?
Yes,
Your
yes,
information is
yes,
in the dark
yes.
web.
Yeah. Oh, that's another tip.
Yeah.
Don't use the same password for each
Don't
site
use
that
the
you
same
have.
password for every and be complicated with the password
Uh-huh.
and create.
Even if you do, make it like something that's that nobody could guess.
Yes. Yes. Try to use the Google recommended ones that they make
Yes.
very complicated. Yes, try to
Yes.
use those. It's not
Mhm.
always convenient. If you have to make your own, make them complex, long, multiple things in it. And so you can't be password one for your all your passwords. And people
Don't
do
do it.
this.
Don't do it.
Yes, and it's
Don't
not
do
funny anymore, folks. This is
it.
to the tune of $10.5 trillion over the next 5 years. Are you crazy?
Yeah, what they say by 2025 is going to be that.
2025. Oh, shoot, 2 years. Geez,
A year
I'm
and a
being
half. A year and a
generous.
half. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being generous. And then what was the other one that I wanted to say? Oh, there were some flags in here for this particular threat, this security breach. This person was able to get into their ADP, change their direct deposit information.
Oh
Now,
yes.
oh man, I have to circle back to some folks with this because it's making me think of something. I recently came across a company that does not do pre-note.
Ooh.
Okay. Now,
Mm,
currently we have pre-note. I my best practice is pre-note, folks. I don't really,
absolutely.
and this proves it, right? This example proves it.
Yes.
Okay, because one of the things that happened in this scenario is that the employee received a live check out of nowhere. And now the first per employee didn't catch it in time, or rather, the message didn't get to us in time because there's there that communication chain. What
They didn't
happened?
question it. They didn't
They
question it.
did really.
They were just like, I got paid.
Oh,
I guess everything's
see?
okay. I'll go back and
Ah,
update my information.
and she didn't know. Oh, he
No,
didn't
she
know.
didn't.
I don't even, she
Yeah.
didn't know. I say she all the time, folks, because I live with a house full of women. So please, I default to she. So don't, oh, he said she is a girl. Nope, don't. I only live with, my son comes every other week, I mean, when I have him. But anywho, that was the red flag, right? It goes, there was a lot. Now, the second employee did ring the alarm. Whoa, I got a live check. So we were able to mitigate that. But the
Yes.
first person lost money. We lost
Yes.
money. Well, the company lost it. We made them whole, but the company lost money. So payroll folk, be sensitive to this. Try to communicate. If you're being proactive, put out communication about this stuff. Hey, if you get a live check out of nowhere, please immediately reach out to payroll, reach out to HR, emergency, boom, boom,
Yeah.
go into your log into your account profile, go update and check your direct deposit information, ring
Yep.
all the alarms, log into your info, change your password, because that means you've been breached.
Yep.
Change your password
D-
and
and delete the app
the
if you need
other,
it. Delete
yes.
the app and
Ooh,
then reinstall it.
good one. Thank you, sir. Good one.
Mhm.
Delete the app, reinstall it, go fresh, uh, all that stuff, because that's your telltale sign right there that somebody changed it.
Something that they tell us to do all the time is to reset your cookies, even though it's the convenience of Google and our
Hmm.
Chrome and stuff like that is that
It's
it can keep
also,
your passwords and stuff
yep,
like that, right?
yep,
But they tell us all the time to go reset that cache and the cookies. It will erase your passwords temporarily, but if you have them all written down somewhere on paper or whatever in your house in a safe place,
hmm,
then you'll know, okay, oh, this is the password for this site, this is the password for that site, this is the password for this site. Then, and there's other apps that you can use in Chrome. I forget the name of it, but there's an app that will, it's an encrypted app that will house your passwords and keep them
yes.
there.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you can use that app, and even though you reset your cookies and stuff like that, it'll still be able to populate your password because there may be multiple systems that you have to log into
Yep,
and use, and you're not going to remember every password
yep,
off rip like that.
exactly. I remember what I wanted to share back when we were talking about employees and contractors
Yeah.
is the from one of the anonymous sources that I interviewed. Um, they gave me, and I gotta say they now so I can protect folks. They gave me a list of things to look out for, what's real, what they're finding, and then of course best practice. That these were very interesting. These are examples of how data gets shared, breached, and the internal folks that are negligent or unaware what they're doing. You know what I mean? Those
Mhm.
first percentages, right? What does it say? 71% are inadvertent and
Yes.
68% are negligent, right?
Hmm.
So some of these fall into that bucket. So one of the examples was somebody sending an Excel file, but they try to hide a tab.
Yes.
I don't know. So folks, if you're good with Excel, you know that you can hide tabs, but it's
Yeah.
not some secret in them. You just go unhide them. You know what I mean? But that's how folks are like trying to pass data out of the company on an Excel
Mhm.
spreadsheet. It might be like, oh, I'm sending a list of dogs I want to my friend, and boom, on the hidden tab is all the
Yes.
information that they want to send. So look
Yep.
out for that. This one was very interesting. Reusing an Excel template. So
Yes.
the example here, right? We don't even
Yes.
think about this stuff. What the example here was like somebody had a template that was built initially for sensitive information, and then
Hmm.
I guess they still wanted to use it, but not it didn't need sensitive information anymore. So they try to clear it out and delete but it was still there. From what they told me was like there's a way to just look at that past and you can look at the ghost and the shadows of the data that was there. You know what I mean?
Because I think there's a way in the version
Ah, there you
prior
go.
to it in Excel. Oh, let me see the
Yep.
historical versions that were used in here, and then they can just access that and be like, oh, this person has some PPI information here. Let me go access this stuff because they're
Yep.
using this template that they've already always reused and stuff.
Yep.
That may be why. I'm
Yep.
not sure, but it's
Uh,
just a
uh,
guess.
that's a good one. Thanks for sharing because I didn't even know. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably one of them. And then another one is this one is interesting because we don't think about this as much. The stuff we do for our company is our company's IP. It's their
Yep.
intellectual property, right?
Yep.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you created a report, a presentation, or something like that, and you think, oh, I did this. This is mine. And now in a world where everybody's content creators, right? Everybody's sharing info and it's a
Yes. Yes.
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to be mindful of what you're sharing, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, so again, this was an example of someone who created something that they thought were theirs and they shared it to the public, but it had sensitive data on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
No, you can't do that. Or, well, you have to be mindful. There's a way to do it if to do it right. If you can, you have to ask permission. You know what I mean? We run into that now when we ask folks to be on the show, tell us about something. No, I can't. I asked my boss and I can't come on the show. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
They I've had it happen with payroll processing, and I've had it happen with legal stuff that we wanted to get into that, and their company
They're
shut them
like,
down and was
nope.
like, "Yo, you can't go on, you can't talk about that stuff because it's too sensitive." It's cool. Hey, folks, we trying to get the breaking news for y'all. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
The on the edge. You know what I mean? Like we are
Yep.
going out there and we're getting stuff for y'all. So, anywho, that's one of the things. Another one is false invoices, and this is on the AP side, the accounts payable
Mm-hmm.
side, and false invoices. People, because think about it, if you're if you're an accounts payable professional, and you get thousands of invoices, man, if there's no good regulations in there and good checks and balances, you could just be pay and not
Yep.
realize you paid somebody
Absolutely.
the wrong vendor.
Especially if it looks
I was just gonna say,
similar
yep,
to what you process, and you're like, oh, yeah, this Walter works for my
I
company.
process this every week.
He signed off on the doc for his employee,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to this account. Oh yeah, this must be normal. Maybe they had something going and stuff like that. You know
Yep,
what I'm saying?
exactly right.
Yeah.
Another one, this is the last one, super interesting was and I can't imagine it happens often, but definitely in remote job situations, this is something that people are getting other people to do the interview, to nail the interviews for them.
Yes. Yes.
Yo, how crazy is this? And then if they can avoid video and if they can do it without being on video, then it's amazing. Holy crap.
Oh, you could give a story like something's wrong with my camera. I don't know what happened.
There
You
you
know, I can
go.
still talk
Right.
and
Put a
kill it.
picture, put a fake
Yes.
picture up there.
Yes.
Even better.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
can't. My bandwidth. That's a great one because something your
Yes.
internet is down. Oh, I can't do it. So
Mhm.
people are doing that, and then they get the job, and then whatever. It's either to get info or they're just going ahead and stealing money, really, until they
Mhm.
realize that the person can't do the job anymore. So that's a this is a type of data breach and kind of fraud scam,
The out
right?
the outsourcing the interview.
Yeah, the outsourcing the interview is crazy. And now it makes me think also, most recently, my oldest daughter has been a victim of job scams. She's newly trying to break into the tech industry, right?
Yep.
She's learned coding and she's ready to go, right? She's ready to find an entry level job, get in there. Man,
Yep.
no, they're just scamming her on the job. They're trying to get info. They're trying to, oh, wait, go buy this for us and buy gift cards. Folks, look up these job scams. Go look at my post on LinkedIn. I posted
Yeah,
on
man.
LinkedIn and our colleagues and friends. Thank you so much for the folks who shared
Yeah.
with me on there some tips, some best practices, some things to do to be proactive about it. But
Yeah.
oh, these scams are crazy and
Yeah.
they're only increasing.
I remember like when you told me that happened
It
with
happened with you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, the same that happened with me. And it was from one of the big job boards.
That's
I
yeah,
I was
yeah.
applying for jobs on one of the big
It's
job boards out there.
Indeed. I'm gonna call it out. It was Indeed from my little. What? Why are we? Why?
Yeah.
Be
It was
careful.
it
And
was one of
it's
the big
not
ones.
Indeed's fault because
No.
folks are legitimately these scammers are legitimately putting out what looks like real job ads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's like we said with all this, these hackers, they don't have bureaucracy to deal with, and they have a war chest bigger than most companies.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go get approval for anything. They are going out there and intentionally being malicious, and they can
Yep.
do whatever they want to get it there. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to be careful on how these things are happening, man. It's
Yep.
crazy. And perfect segue, right? Some of the examples of internal breaches
Yep.
include now we got a data breach at Snapchat, City of
Yes.
Calgary, the FDIC. But what I wanted to call out here, the examples are at
FDIC.
Snapchat,
Oh,
it was 700 employees and current and former employees' information that got leaked out. The city of Calgary, because of their breach, they were being sued for $92 million because the breach impacted more than 3,700 employees.
yeah.
At
And
F,
and the key word in here is that the city is accused of acting with the most obvious neglect.
oh, wow.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The last one, FDIC, 44,000 customers were impacted.
Mhm.
I don't know how much more serious, how many more examples you need to be. And then the other list, we're going to just read off of it, but we got a list of all the companies that have been breached in the last year.
Yes.
Wait till we
Yes.
read off that list, guys. You're
Yes.
going to be,
Yes.
and it's to scare us all into being proactive, right? That's what
Yes.
it's about.
Mhm.
What else here? Disgruntled employees is another source. Oof.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me go to the videotape here.
These are some examples. There was a
Yes.
former network administrator for the city of San Francisco that held the city systems hostage by refusing to give up the passwords. So think about it. This person was operating in a silo,
Oh my God.
and he had access to all the city's passwords, like the important stuff. This one, so you're telling me that this one person
Yo,
had
that's crazy.
everything.
See, gotta have backups, gotta have
And,
redundancies
and,
for
and
some
the
of
and
this
the
stuff.
reason and the reason why is petty to me. The reason why he did is petty. he felt his supervisors were incompetent.
Yo, that's crazy.
Another example is a network engineer for an oil and gas company found out that he was going to be fired and sabotaged the company's systems by returning them to the original factory settings.
Yo, I'm sorry to laugh. It's not funny. This is stuff
Well, it's
is
messed
not
up.
funny, but
But,
it's
but see,
oh.
and then the last one is a hospital worker stole forms containing patient information and is thought to have filed fraudulent income tax returns.
Ooh. Oh my
The
gosh.
thing about that, so a person who had that hospital worker, I don't know the whole story behind that. I think it has a link there for each one though. But the hospital worker probably stole forms for people who had probably passed or were bedridden,
Hmm?
and they were just like, "Oh, this person's not gonna be
Yeah, he
able to
found.
do
Yep.
anything,
Yep.
so let me
Yep. They'll be here for a while. Oh,
use this stuff and file the taxes."
wow. And then rounding that out, it says 66% of respondents for this survey say
Mm-hmm.
that detecting and preventing internal attack is more difficult than external attacks.
Ooh,
Yep. My
66,
anonymous
66% more.
66% more difficult, or rather 66% of the folks that were surveyed say that
Ah,
it's more difficult. It relates so well to my interview with my source because this person, their whole job is in internal investigations. Their whole job is to look for the internal stuff.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Their whole job. Maybe not the whole thing, but their department, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
it responsible for looking just for internal stuff? This is serious. Again,
Absolutely.
like we said, like we talked about with Keith and Carmen on the last, or actually that's today's. We all feel like payroll and cybersecurity is going to morph into a new
Something
role.
else.
Yeah,
Yep.
a new role. Be excited. If you those of you who are afraid of AI, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job because of AI. Start reinventing yourself. Start investing in yourself. Go out and take some cybersecurity classes. There are a lot of short programs that are affordable and
Yep.
short. I'm sure there are a ton of books and things you can do for free to get going if you're interested in this stuff.
I'm sure there's some pretty recognized certifications out there that might be inexpensive for you to get.
Yep.
Google it and see. There might be some certifications out there right now that you can afford and just knock it out and have it under your belt. So as these jobs in payroll, accounting, finance, HR, as they transform
Yes.
and
Yes.
transition to those, you can be one of the people who are at the forefront of that.
What are we saying in one of the shows? 51% of HR leaders are talking about implementing AI in the next 12 months.
Yep.
Folks, they're implementing stuff they don't even know how to secure yet.
Because
Okay.
it's cool. Because it's cool.
Because they want to just be, oh my gosh, you want to rush to be on the leading edge of things. Hey, you gotta pay attention to what you're doing first, because
Yeah.
that's the easy way to open yourself up for breaches and for errors.
Well, that's a perfect segue to me. What could an organization do, or
Exactly.
what could the professional do
Yep.
to prevent against that?
Yep.
So, a couple of things here is you can enhance employee training. So, enhancing training will raise their awareness of potential risk and drive behavioral change.
Absolutely.
So
So
when they say behavioral change, that's that negligence, right? So that's that
yes.
sending over the email with all the PPI data,
Yep.
what not encrypted or not on a protected drive or something like that. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You know,
Yep. No,
another,
and go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the this that is the number one thing I hear from cybersecurity experts, and definitely the two folks that I interviewed. The other person is an executive and the head of cybersecurity at a firm. And you know what they tell me? Education, Brian. That's the biggest thing I can tell you to combat this stuff is
Yep,
education.
yep. Yep. And then another one is making cybersecurity a priority
Yes.
by securing your networks, your systems, applications, devices, physical premises, and
Yep.
establishing incident report response processes.
Yes. Yes, that's a good one.
Mm,
That's a good one. Establishing incident response processes. That's a
yeah.
really good one. It makes me think of Ray Diallo and
Yeah.
being transparent. And when he was building Bridgewater, they actually required folks to report errors, not because he wanted to reprimand. He actually reprimanded if you did not report the
Mhm.
error,
Mhm.
right? Because he wanted everybody to get better from what that person experienced. That we got to normalize that, man. We're not digging to blame. Oh, I don't want to know because I'm gonna blame you for this. No, we need to know so we can all get better, so we can all be better from it. Which people are so scared of losing their job. Oh no. Yo, how do you
Yeah.
get better if you're not sharing what's going on?
Everybody makes mistakes, right?
Yes.
Everybody makes mistakes.
To error is
You're
human.
human. Yeah, to error is human, but you have to remain open and remain teachable. Now, if you're in an environment,
Say that again though. Remain what?
teachable.
Thank you.
If you're in an environment that doesn't allow you to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and remain teachable, that might not be the best environment
Nope.
for you.
It's definitely not.
Mhm.
The other one is stay up with industry trends, compliance requirements, global security developments. Consider partnering with the cybersecurity experts to identify vulnerabilities, receive guidance, and strengthen your security measures.
Yeah. So if your IT team is struggling and stuff like that, or you're trying to identify these things, maybe it might be good to hire one of these security firms to
Yep.
come in and take an assessment of your stuff.
Yep.
I know
Absolutely.
no company wants to create an expense, but you paying for that may prevent something else that's
That's
you
right.
know
That's
that's
right.
upstream.
Look, if you're in a place where you feel comfortable stretching, be the one that leads this charge and says,
Mhm.
look, folks, because there's a lot of things you can do for free. Education
Mhm.
being number one. There's four things we read off. Three of them say education. Like the redundancy, the theme, the running theme is education. If you,
Yes.
it, what I love too, when we covered it back on, gosh, I think the first time we covered cybersecurity, we were talking about how the teams that are most susceptible to these threats need to be double trained, need to be retrained constantly, and
Yeah.
really they need to be like on a training plan for this all the time, and
Yes.
not just like a regular employee who
Yeah.
gets the once a year mandatory cyber training. No, these payroll, HR, finance, IT, your critical support staff needs to be trained all the time, refreshers all the time. Because I'm not even in payroll anymore, and I constantly get the email, "Hey Brian, I changed my direct deposit. Can you change it for me?" And usually 99% of the time the email is from some shady McShaderson.com deal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So again, folks, education, it's being aware, being intentional about this stuff is the key, really. It's like all these things, and it all boils down to that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's a perfect segue to the last part that we wanted to do. We have this other article that lists
Mm,
the
I
different
forgot
type
all
of
about it.
breaches. And like for those of you that are saying like, oh, you guys have been on the cybersecurity thing, you're not really talking about payroll. If your mind is going there,
This is payroll, folks.
this because the data that we have access to
Yes. Yes.
is the same data that we're discussing in these recordings here
Yeah.
recently because it's
Yeah.
so important. And once you start to read off some of these names are going to sound, are you going to be familiar with?
Mm,
And it's a better way to put it. You're going to be familiar with some of these names that we read off of this list that have had breaches in 2023
yeah.
that you may not even heard of. These are from 2023.
Yeah. This is most recent, and it's broken
Yeah.
down from the most recent back to the least like before. And again, go check the link. I'm not gonna read everybody. I'm gonna read
Yeah.
off the companies that I think people will know.
Yep.
American Airlines
Yep.
data breach in June. UPS in Canada. Don't know that one. Reddit, but folks are Reddit. Don't know that one. Mo- Move It in June was the affecting the zealous. The BBC.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Sylvia. She's the one that shot that one to us and was like, oh, go, and gave us the solve. But that was big. That was big
Yes.
overseas. Don't know that one.
Well, I mean,
Suzuki,
I would still
no.
mention that one, the healthcare one, because it's 1.1.
Apria.
Yeah, Apria Healthcare,
Oh
because
gosh.
that's 1.9 million people.
Thank you, sir. I'm not even looking at it. I'm just looking at the names. Suzuki. Gosh, where's another one? U.S. government data breach. 237,000 employees.
Mm-hmm.
Discord. We all right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's jumping to Discord.
Mm-hmm.
T-Mobile
Yep.
back in May. Pizza Hut, KFC,
KFC.
Yum Brands. That's what I was like. What's their big? That's their company. It's the Yum Brands, but you don't know Yum Brands.
Yes.
You Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, KFC though, and that's the Yum
Yep.
Brands.
Yep.
Back in April, I don't know them. Western
What's the?
Digital. I don't know if everybody knows that they make like computers and calculators, usually stuff like that.
Yeah.
Chat GPT back in March, data leak. Hello, U.S. House of Representatives. Good. Activision. I know all the tech people know Activision. That's a gaming company, right?
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? At
Yep.
Atlassian, I never know how to pronounce this, and I only mention it because if I'm not mistaken, they are. Well, let's read who are they. Atlassian seems to have. Do they say
They're a
who
software
Atlassian is?
company.
That's what I was gonna say. They're a software
Yep.
company, and they be like in the background sometimes. So those are
Mm-hmm.
the one of the companies you connect to do something. Um, Again, Reddit. Oh gosh, Reddit clearly got hit multiple times this year. Anything else? Well, T-Mobile multiple times, MailChimp, PayPal,
Hey, Chuck.
Chick-fil-A,
Yeah.
Twitter,
There's,
Slack.
there's another one that some of the listeners may be familiar with.
Who's that?
It's a Asian and Hispanic food delivery service. They have
Mm,
1.1 million customers.
mm. Good gosh. Dropbox.
Yep.
The list goes on and on, folks. I'm just reading
Chick-fil-A,
off. Yep.
Chick-fil-A, Twitter,
I'm just reading off name. You got again. The link is going to be in the show notes.
PayPal.
PayPal is a big one. Revolt. That may not be huge. That's P Diddy's thing. Revolt, right? Uh, Rockstar again, a gaming system. Uber,
Slack.
Slack. Oh my,
Oh,
TikTok.
oof. Yep.
Now I'm going back into 22. Samsung. This is Facebook. Gosh, guys, the list goes on and on. Basically, everything we use on a day to day is up for grabs. Is potential. To Walt's point, are we talking about payroll? Yes, indeed.
Yep.
I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 last night, right? We're guardians of payroll data. We're the
Yes.
guardians of the payroll data, right?
Yes.
We're guardians of the payroll universe.
Guardians of the Payroll Galaxy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is so, and even Walt came when we prep for the show. He's like, Brian, I don't know, man. This stuff, I don't know. It's not really the stuff that we're getting into with payroll, but it is. And it's so relevant right now because I don't think folks are taking it serious and it could cost you your job. All right. So payroll folk, please,
Yes.
please be diligent, be proactive. Make sure you've gone on record and spoke about this stuff
Yeah.
because you don't want to be the one that, oh, you've never said anything, right? I've talked about it on the show. Don't be afraid to go
Yes.
on record. Okay.
Yes.
Do not
Yes.
be afraid to go on record. Okay. Because what's the most they're going to say? Oh, no, we can't do that right now. All right. Hey, no problem. You got it
I
in
don't.
the email, though.
Yes, you got it in the email. Even if you have to repeat it a couple times. Hey,
Yep.
just letting you know.
Yep.
Hey, just letting you know. Hey, just letting you know.
Hmm?
Just letting you know.
Share these articles,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
share the information. This list right here, people that just got breached, nobody is immune. If you share this list with somebody at your company that doesn't know and is ignorant of things still,
Mm-hmm.
this has got to change the game for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well,
What
look,
else?
then even up here it says Apple, Meta, like some of the biggest ones. Like Apple is known for their security,
Mm.
but it
Yep.
says they've had cybersecurity attacks. Doesn't mean those attacks now just because they've been attacked and they're on this
Right.
list doesn't
Right.
mean those attacks were successful. So
All right.
you want to keep that in mind. Okay,
Good
so
call
just
out.
because we listed out some of those names that you're familiar with,
Hmm.
we just wanted to let you know, like even the big ones, even those companies that are known for their security are getting hit.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Doesn't mean that they're getting the PM and or anything like that. It's just they are getting attacked. I think the biggest thing is you have, as a payroll person, you have an opportunity for education, awareness. If you have the ability to get your team on a regular cadence for training, a lot of times they have these companies. You don't even have to have the internal solutions and resources to get the training. There's a lot of companies now you could just go take it, have your class take it, or get a subscription or something. I'm sure LinkedIn Learning has a ton of cyber stuff already. But again, or the folks that put out this article, what was it? redteamsecure.com. They got the great article. I'm sure they do consulting and many like them. You know what I mean?
Hmm?
Just it all comes down to that. We're going to continue to share the reasons and the whys and the things like that, but it all boils down to education,
Yep.
continuing education, being proactive, and trying to get ahead of this stuff, having a strategy, having annual audits, annual forensic audits and stuff like that. Because once you have been breached, like we've spoken about and from other articles, once you have been breached, now you need to do a
Mm-hmm.
full audit of everybody you use, your whole tech stack, everything that's going on, what's going in and out, who has access, right?
Yep.
So I'm sorry if I just get worked up. I'm like, oh my God.
No, this is important. This is
Yeah,
important.
man.
You see, that's the thing in life, right? Going back to those lessons that we mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's better to be prepared than to be reactive. It's
Yep.
better to be proactive than to be reactive. So it's better to have these precautions and to think about everything that could potentially happen and protect against that
Yep.
than to get hit and then you're like, oh my God, what do we do?
Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man.
All
Yeah,
right,
man.
man.
That was it.
All right, people. Till next time,
Love you guys.
take
Peace.
care. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to It's About Payroll. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.